Hello, Phil Cross here. Esophageal cancer. I'm going to talk to you this time. I'm still in Oesophageal Cemetery. I'm taking the opportunity to make a few of these films because I've had so many films fail on me when I'm doing it on the motorbike. Like mic not connecting, all this sort of stuff, and not being aware of it, and sort of chuntering on for 15 minutes and finding it hasn't worked. So this way I can do the lion's share of them, and then hopefully we'll get some successful ones on the bike as well. Plus I'm at Oesophageal Cemetery. It means a lot to me to be here, to be fair. Right. So after the operation, you're left with a stomach. This is going to be talking about diets and food and how things change for us, and it's dramatic. Don't run away with the idea it's not. So in the course of the operation, they take most of the top of your stomach, which includes the sphincter. I spoke about that in the other one, which basically is the sort of the cap on your stomach, really. So every time you swallow, food goes through the sphincter closes, food's in your stomach, happy days. And you can get that sort of Christmas dinner feeling where you're, because you've managed to jam loads of food down and that sphincter's holding it in. You ain't got that anymore. So like I've tried to describe in one of the previous videos, your stomach now is more like a, for want of a better description, rabbit's here. It's like a tube. There's no sphincter at the top. One of the other things that happens when they take that part of your stomach away is the glands that produce hunger hormones are in that part of the stomach. So you will not feel hungry again. I have not felt hungry since June the 9th, 2021. And that will bring in its own problems. So what you need to do is you need to start sort of eating by your clock, basically. Because you can only eat a small quantity of food, you need to try and pack as many calories into that small quantity of food as you're able to, and obviously you need to eat more regularly. So, back in the day when I worked in the police, I'd go in the morning and I'd just have a massive breakfast. And when you think about the types of food you used to like to eat, a full English breakfast was my favourite meal of all. People say, what? Not a roast? Yeah, I enjoy a roast, but for me, a full English breakfast was just brilliant, and just can't eat anymore. So you've got to come to terms with a lot of the things that you used to be able to eat that you can't eat now. But when you first come out of the operation, you can only really eat really soft foods like yogurts and mashed potato. It needs to be properly soft, which is it can get a little bit boring, the types of foods you can eat. So for example, you go and see a dietitian. Dietitians, in the whole of this process. In the whole of this process, I think the dietitians are probably the ones with the least amount of useful knowledge for you. They do what they do. I'm not dissing them by any respect, but when it comes to gastric and esophageal cancer, where your stomach is now affected in some detrimental way with its size, they really don't know the best way forward, and they can't. It seems that there's nowhere they can go for this information. I'm definitely no font of information. It's different for everybody, but she prescribed for me. There were little milkshakes, and they were like super calorie things. They're just ridiculous the amount of calories in these little milkshakes, and they were absolutely disgusting. like heaving, disgusting. They are filth. Believe it or not, I actually had to put it in a blitzer and add a banana to it to make it taste like a fucking banana. It was just awful. So I binned them off fairly quickly. I gave them to a mate at work whose particular work meant that he wouldn't be able to abscond to get food and stuff. I'm not going to go into what he did, but he decided to have them, and they were quite useful for him. The ones I had, obviously he's used them now, but because it was high calorie and he was able to use them. So yeah, filth, absolute filth. That said, get your NutriBullet or blender or whatever it is you use to make your milkshakes. Ice cream, clotted cream, banana, chocolate sauce. Absolutely brilliant. Just the milkshakes of everybody's dreams. Fantastic. What's for dinner? Another fucking milkshake. 4 or 5 days later? Nah, I don't think I've had a milkshake since. You just do it to death. I never liked avocados prior to the operation. I found myself eating avocados on a very thin bit of toasted sourdough. Again, bored myself titless of them. Strawberries, bored myself titless of them. You just, because you find a food that you can eat and eat comfortably, and it's, it tastes nice. You just get bored of it. It's just that simple. You just get bored of it, and you're not eating in the same way that you used to eat. So you're not eating to slake a hunger. You're eating because you have to eat, because you've got no hunger hormones being produced, so you don't feel hungry. So you could quite happily never eat again. So you're eating because you have to, not because you want to or because you enjoy it. So yeah, I found early days when I was starting to eat firmer food, it was pushing down into the stomach. Clear fluid was coming to the top, being sick, but it was only the fluid. It wasn't vomiting your food back up. It was just the clear fluid that was in your stomach prior to eating, and that stops after about 4 or 5 years. But joking, it stops after about 4 or 5 months. Really, it starts to lessen and lessen until it doesn't happen anymore. So yeah, you'll find that there are foods that, for example, now if I eat a chicken Caesar salad, Tesco's do a sort of made one. You got the lettuce and you put the sauce, the croutons and the cheese and that in. Other supermarkets do it as well. But if I eat a chicken Caesar salad, I can eat pretty much all of that. Whereas if I was to eat try a burger, again, meat is difficult for me. It may not be for you, but meat is difficult for me unless it's minced. So mince in a bolognese or the like, sausages, it's minced. But if I wanted to eat a steak, and bless him, whenever we go out and my boy has a steak, he's always cutting a bit off for me to offer it to me, and it's whether or not I'm prepared to take the chance to eat it or not, just because it just feels funny. So yeah, types of food that you're able to eat, types of food that you never used to eat that you will eat now, you can eat now. It's a very, very strange one. Very strange one indeed. But what I still get is, I'm coming up to 4 years, well, just over 4 years, all clear now. There's a thing called dumping syndrome, and when I speak to the old people that are when I say old people, it's not disrespectful. They're the vast majority of them are 70 plus, and they've had this. They've been dealing with this for 15, 16 years, and they're lovely people. Yeah, dumping syndrome. Now this is a particular fucker. So what actually happens with the dumping syndrome is when you eat your food, whatever that may be, it doesn't stay in the stomach. It goes straight through your stomach and into your sort of intestines, and as a result of that, you need the Kazi, and you need it now. And I think to try and describe it in such a way, that's it. You're in the loo. You'll probably be maybe 2 or 3 times before you feel you don't need to go to the toilet anymore. It's not good. And then after that, I can only imagine. I've got no sort of medical know-how around this, but it feels like then your intestines are now doing the job that your stomach didn't do. So the intestines are having to digest undigested food. So I get cramps, and that's me fucked for the day. Okay, that's me done for the day. And after a night's sleep, I'm usually good to go. One of the guys at my group in Broomfield, when he has dumping syndrome, and he has him fairly regularly as well, that's him for 3 days. That's him just obliterate for 3 days. So it affects people differently, but it is a thing, and it's not a pleasant thing. So that's your dumping syndrome. You just need to make provision for it. You can get disabled toilet door keys. You can get them from the internet. When you go out, again, we're coming back to the sort of the partner side of it. The partner suffers this as much as you do. When we go out for a restaurant, I sit across from Nikki, and is there going to be something on the menu I can eat? Haven't eaten it. Am I going to need to go to the toilet? It's just, and the kind of stress that puts your partner through. It's a real thing. It's a real thing for them, and it shouldn't be ignored. So that's the dumping syndrome. There is a thing called long dumping syndrome. So this is where you don't eat. So if you don't eat, then your blood sugars drop, and for me, it basically affects my eyes. In respect of, I can't focus on anything. It feels like your eyes are just twitching all the time. So if I wanted to pick up a cup of coffee, I can't actually fix on that central object. I'm flitting about all around it, and I can't actually pick something up because I can't concentrate on it enough to pick it up. Just need to eat something. It used to be for me apples, but I'm bored of them now. But a sweet, I do it hard sweet, something sugary to get your blood sugars back up. But don't not eat for great periods of time. You need to eat regularly in order to be able to keep that at bay. The thing about dumping syndrome, the ordinary dumping syndrome, it's not something you can put down to a particular food. I can't eat that food because it gives me dumping syndrome, because it will happen regardless of what type of food it is you eat. I've had it where I've eaten an avocado every day for 4 days. Bang! Next day it's dumping syndrome, and it's the avocado. And you think, it's the avocado, but it's not. It's just on that particular day at that particular time. It's not having it. It's just sending it straight through. So that's your dumping syndrome. When I went down to the main ward, there was a guy. I was in a room of 4, and there was a guy in the opposite bed to me, who basically did, this is what people do, isn't it? What are you in for? So I said, I just had an operation for esophageal cancer. And he said, he said, I had that 5 years ago. And it's that kind of fucking hell, is it just going to be 5 years? Is that? And he could obviously see that in my face. He went, no. He said, I've come in to have an hernia sorted out. They had to sort out a hernia for me. I'm okay. Yeah, it's not. So anyway, I got chatting to him very briefly. I didn't have a lot of time to talk to him because he got sent home about 4 hours later. But what he did say to me is, if you can see that on my phone, can you see that on my phone? The centre one top, OPA, that's the app. That's an organisation that he put me onto. You can download the app. It doesn't do an awful lot. It's like a charity around gastric cancer, basically. And one of the things that did come out of it is they do little cards. So these are the cards you can get. It's printed on both sides. You can get them in every language. I've got English. This is French. The other ones are up in my bike. But Spanish. You can whatever language you want. Basically, you can get one, and you basically order them, and they are free. But they ask you if you just want to make a donation. So I basically bought all of the languages of the countries I'm likely to go to. And just made a donation of a tenner or whatever, and they come through the post to you. And basically, although they are handy, they are not as good as I think they could be. And OPA, forgive me if you're watching this, but I think these could be better. So basically, this is the French one. That's the cyber. It basically says, due to a serious medical condition, can I have access to your toilets? So if you're in a restaurant or whatever, and or restaurants are supposed to have toilets, aren't they? But if you're in a cafe and the toilet's not available to you, you can ask them, I need your toilet. Can you let me use it, please? And on the other side is, due to a serious medical condition, could I please have a portion that is for a child, so a child-sized portion. I think this is where the problems arise. So if you've got the English one, it's due to a serious medical condition, can I please have a portion that is child size. Waiters and waitresses are different in many ways. Waitresses tend to ask to take the card with them, and they'll go and show the chef and then come back with some sort of positive answer, depending on the chef, that is. Male waiters, you want to push through the fucking wall, because what they do is they go away and they bring back the child's menu, which is not what you're fucking asking. I'm asking for a grown-up's dinner, please, but half the size. And I think a lot of the issues comes when they think, oh, you know, what's the costing of that? Because a lot of places won't reduce the cost. There's been, some places we've been to where they've given me the child-sized portion, and when the bill came, they actually put it down as chicken nuggets and chips, because it was a smaller portion of what was off the main menu, which was lovely. But there are times where you can feel a little bit let down by the people there. And as my wife Nikki will tell you, I always try and be fair about it. I'm not. So I wouldn't go into a restaurant and say, "Can I have a child-sized portion? I want the ribeye steak, please," and cut although I can't eat steak, or don't eat steak, I'm not comfortable with steak, but I wouldn't ask them to cut a cut of meat in half, because I know what else you're going to be able to do with it. But I would ask for a smaller portion of, say, spaghetti bolognese, less spaghetti, less sauce. Chicken and chips. It's a chicken breast. I can eat most of that. If it's chicken pieces, then fewer pieces, fewer chips. Meat pies. I tend to, if I order a meat pie, I can eat some of the pastry, but I tend not to, because I don't want it to fill me up too much. I can eat the filling and whatever. But if it's a meat pie, I understand that you can't chop a meat pie in half, but can we have less mash, less vegetables? It's I try and do it in a way where it is easy for them to do it, without them having to throw food away that they can't sell in another way. But the amount of times it happens where they say, "No, I can't reduce the price," So invariably what happens is I tend not to get the card out. I might as well just order the main course and just throw it away because I'm paying for it anyway. There was a particular place in Southend, which is on the seafront. I don't know the name of it, but I did put it on TripAdvisor. I'm very disappointed with them. Ham, egg and chips. So a portion of ham, egg and chips was something like 3 slices of nice ham, a couple of eggs and some chips. So can I have a smaller portion, please? What do you mean? Well, say 1 slice of ham, 1 egg and half the chips. No, we can't do that. And they actually suggested that it was very similar to the weather we was having here. They actually suggested that I have a doggy bag and sort of take what I can't eat home with me, like fucking fried egg. You know, it just beggars belief. But you'll come across that. Okay, you'll come across that. Let's have a little look. I just want to make sure that I've covered my points around the diet. Yeah, that's it. Try stuff. If something feels like it's not working for you, try it again a couple of months later. I'm led to believe by the people in the group that it will come to a point where you can eat everything that you ate before, just obviously a smaller portion of it. So my beloved English breakfast, for example, at the moment I'm able to have a hash brown, a couple of tin tomatoes, fried egg, and maybe a slice of bacon or a sausage. Nothing like my old team would tell you I used to eat. I mean, I've been known to have a breakfast served to me in Selco's on 2 plates. You wouldn't look at it now, would you? Oh, and yeah, that's it. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.